Have you ever wondered who really calls the shots in the digital realm? In an unfolding drama that perfectly illustrates the powers that be, payment processing giants like Visa and Mastercard are found wielding their influence over video game content. The gaming industry has flourished into a multi-billion-dollar landscape blending art, entertainment, and expression. And yet a new battlefront has opened where financial powerhouses are quietly shaping the availability of games, particularly on major platforms like Steam. At the center of this controversy is the Australian activist group, Collective Shout, uh, um, and they've stepped into the spotlight, applying pressure on these financial giants to enforce their moral views on the global gaming community. And their actions have resulted in the removal of hundreds of adult-themed games, raising urgent questions about free speech and cultural imperialism. This phenomenon is not merely an isolated incident. It's indicative of a wider trend where private companies bypass traditional regulatory systems, assuming the role of gatekeepers. Some champions of this cause argue it's a win for child safety, while critics highlight the selective approach, pointing out the risks of suppressing creative expression. The spark was hard conflict igniting this conflict. This was the spark igniting this conflict occurred in mid-July 2025 when Valve updated its guidelines for suddenly nearly 500 games, particularly from Japan's vibrant indie scene, found themselves in the crosshairs, exiting the digital marketplace at alarming speed. Valve confirmed that Visa and Mastercard had flagged these titles, and with the threat of halted payment processing, immediate action was taken. What followed was a chilling wave of censorship wherein creators were left scrambling as their hard work vanished from public view. In Japan, this news prompted profound concern, with lawmakers like Taro Yamada echoing fears of cultural export suppression. Renowned game creator Yoko Taro voiced his outrage, emphasizing how a single nation could impose its standards upon others, stifling free expressions. Collective Shout, a group propelling this censorship, emerged in 2009 with a mission to tackle the objectification of women. They've had notable victories in past campaigns, including successfully pressuring major retailers to withdraw games from sale due to perceived inappropriate content. In this instance, they boldly took credit for Steam's significant game purge, reducing titles flagged for adult themes. Their approach involved directly targeting payment processors, bombarding them with complaints and allegations that frame certain game content as violent and harmful. Moreover, their rhetoric transformed these fictional narratives into purported enablers of real-world crimes, creating an alarming blend of activism and economic leverage. The backlash has been fierce, sometimes escalating to threats against those who spoke out against them. That the enormity of Visa and MasterCard's influence can't be overstated, and they dominate over 90% of the credit card transaction landscape, effectively monopolizing the payment processing market. And this gives them a power, to enforce moral standards that can dictate what content is deemed acceptable. Historically, similar tactics were employed during periods of moral panic, echoing campaigns against cartoon violence and horror movies. While evidence connecting fictional material to actual harm remains thin, the consequences are stark for creators and their audiences. The public response has been a cacophony of disapproval and action. Petitions demanding the cessation of such control have surfaced, garnering thousands of signatures, while influencers and gamers alike are voicing their dissatisfaction online. And some have even turned to fundraising efforts for organizations like the ACLU, aiming to raise awareness about the issue of censorship. Gamers are exploring alternative payment methods and platforms as a means to resist this perceived corporate overreach. Looking ahead, the prospect for positive change depends heavily on transparency and regulatory inquiries. And then if they're going for a massive spending at values, with investigations underway and petitions gaining momentum, the hope is artistic expression will be protected from the winds of payment, and ultimately the conversation drifts beyond gaming. It's about who controls the narratives that we consume. As Yoko Taro noted, unchecked censorship acts as a slow eraser of diverse voices, all on the precarious balance of transactions. So the next time you swipe your card, could you be inadvertently influencing the stories told in games? With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, I would love to